prepaid collect call from
Rashad, Jamal.
An incarcerated individual at Hayes State Prison. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. Please note, due to recent federal legislation, some of our services may have changed. Please visit securoushelp.com and search FCC order for details. Thank you. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charge, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
What's that word, man? Today we got Rashad Jamal with us, man. He a figure who has inspired many with, his spiritual teachings, but at the same time, he been at the center of controversy. So now we got on here, we got a raw, honest conversation, finna dive into the truth, let them know what's going on. Rashad Jamal, what's that word?
Peace, God, man. Peace to God. The God's upon the top, man. Peace, give me positive energy. I was Chris Elevation, man. What's up, 16? What it do, man?
It's long overdue, man. I remember you had reached out a minute ago. I kind of wasn't really too familiar back then, though. I had knew your name and shit, but I had just went through a rabbit hole. Everything tied to you, and it's a lot, man. I don't know where to start.
Right, for sure. Yeah, so definitely a lot.
For the people that might not know you, I just want you to give us like a little intro. Take us back to the beginning. What was your life like before the teachings and shit and the platform you got?
Originally, man, I come out of Chicago, man. I'm from 1100. That's the D's in the Noble. That's the Brainy Green area. My mom and them born and raised in the projects. And, when they start the gentrification process, like they're doing a lot of communities, you know what I'm saying? We moved down to the D's in the Noble, you know what I'm saying? That's 1100. That's why I'm born and raised Chicago. Went to school out west, Mason Elementary, you know what I'm saying? Definitely, participated in the music, you know what I'm saying? Did my thing in high school in sports and shit like that, running track, playing basketball. Definitely focus on the rap, that's what the heart was at. You know what I'm saying? So that's really how things started for me, you know what I'm saying? And just really coming up in the streets, man, and being a product of, the environment of Chicago, being a product of the rap, you feel me?
So was it like a specific moment or event that led to you, speaking about things you're speaking on? Like I hear you speaking on being like a celestial being and stuff like that. And can you also break that down and explain to people what that is?
Oh yeah, for sure. So basically to be 100 with y'all, I always was, tapped in, I always had my third eye open, God. I always was trying to spread truth, but at the same time, growing up in Chicago, the environment where I come from, how it is, like in our city, the vibration's real low. We see a lot of negativity. We grew up around a lot of violence, you know what I'm saying? So growing up like that, a lot of my homies, when I try to tell them about, black activism or how we need to come together and who the good enemy is, they wasn't trying to hear that type of shit, you know what I'm saying? So what I ended up doing was I ended up like silencing myself. I ended up basically, falling into the peer pressure going up in the streets of the rap of Chicago. So I always been around, I always been loyal. So my homies was in the street life and gangbanging, so that's what I had turned to support my homies and just to survive in everyday life. So I did that for a long time, and eventually, that led to me being incarcerated in like 2012 on the first degree attempt murder. When I beat that case in trial, come home 2016, I vowed to change my life around because I learned a lot and seen a lot. But I still hadn't fully started like teaching publicly yet and nothing like that. Like what I became known for as a poet, a philosopher, a spiritual guru, and any of that. That ain't started to 2020. What inspired that though was when George Floyd got killed by the police. So when he got killed by the police, it was like an overflow of the emotions that I felt within myself because he wasn't the first person to get killed by the police or nothing like that, but it was like back to back. We had a lot of incidents, over that 10-year period from like 2010 to 2020 where the police was killing us and it was getting a lot of media attention. So when I seen George Floyd, down like that on that camera with the knee to the neck by the officer, that just made me say, fuck it. I'm like, man, we've been killing each other forever. So we fight each other, killing each other, man, when the real enemy killing us. So I end up, as you know, the protests broke out all over the country. It started in Minnesota, and I was in Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta in 2017. So I was in Atlanta when the protests hit. So I went downtown Atlanta, and I was on the front line of the protests. And, I watched the police beat old women, women that was just sitting down trying to say, Black Lives Matter. I've seen that firsthand. You know what I'm saying? They clubbing our elderly women and our younger women. I watched it. So then us, the men out there, we stopped fighting the police back. And, we took a beat. You know what I'm saying? They got on our ass. They 12. But what really pissed me off and got me going was when I got back home and I turned the news on and I seen how they had flipped the narrative. Like they just made it seem like we was downtown Atlanta rioting and doing all that. And that wasn't the case. Everything started off as a peaceful protest until they started putting their hands on the elderly women and beating them with the club, with their nightclubs and spraying everybody and shit like that. So I was just so frustrated. I ended up going live on Facebook and I was just speaking out about how we've been out here being oppressed for so long, and they want us to believe that oppression is over with, but that's really not the truth. And I just started, just going in about the subject, speaking passionately, and letting know, like, listen, man, I'm ready to die for our freedom because I grew up in the streets gang banging, and there was a million nights where I put my life on the line for my homies, for my hood, and I was willing to die for less. So that's a real purpose and a real cause that we need to be fighting for, just like our elders did, our ancestors did before us. And when I did that, it ended up going viral on Facebook. And then the next day, everybody's like, man, that was some real shit. You need to go live again. So like, man, I ain't just going live shit. But at that time, I'm still focused on rapping. COVID had just hit, so the whole world was kind of like on pause. And then, I ended up going live the next day. And then I ended up with like 50 people on the live. And they like, go live again. I went live the next day. The next day was like 100 people. Like in a week, it just like took off like almost overnight. Now 500, 600, 700 people on the live. And now it went from me talking about police brutality to me talking about ancient Egypt and ancient Kemet. And, how this our land and how, black folks never came on slave ships and how we actually the original Indians and how we divine beings and, that led to me teaching people that we divine beings and basically, us being divine beings because us being black folks, but the reason we black, the black and Latino community is because we got carbon in our skin. So I got to do my research, and if you do your research, carbon is the basis on which all life is formed. You know what I'm saying? So as black people, that's why our skin is actually black, because of the carbon in our skin. And I was researching, I'm like, man, I know it's been a lot of racism from white America. Not all white folks bad though, but there's been a lot of racism from some of them. And I'm trying to figure out, like, it can't just because of our skin complexion. You know what I'm saying? So as I kept researching, going deeper and deeper, I found out that, hold on, we got carbon in our skin. We give life to the sun, and the sun gives life to us, and the sun gives life to everything on the planet. But when Caucasians step in the sun, it get them cancer and it kill them. But I thought it did that to all of us because that's what they taught us in school growing up. And doing my research, like, no, they don't have souls. They only have spirits, and they don't have a open pineal gland, which is the third eye, which sits between your two eyebrows. The actual gland in our brain, the pineal gland, the third eye. So it makes sense why ancient Egypt they always showed the one eye symbolism. So as I'm going deeper and deeper, I start meditating and just researching, and it just led to this awareness of why they hated us so much over the years and how we used to live in ancient Africa, ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt compared to how we is today, and how Chicago and Detroit, LA, and all these cities used to be ancient tribal locations. Like, for example, Chicago is named after Chief Chicago, which was the chief of the Illinois Confederacy. You know what I'm saying? Chief Chicago, Chief Black Hawk. So, coming out the city, I'm like, hold on. We got hockey teams, you know what I'm saying, called the Black Hawks and shit. So I'm like, oh, that's why they call the hockey team the Black Hawks. Oh, that's why they call it Chicago. Then I found out that, like, the Illinois Confederacy was one of the most powerful tribes. And then I found out that these were all black people. You know what I'm saying? These wasn't no Indians, like we the Indians. And then, that's why, if you ask your grandmama or you go back a couple generations, every black person will be like, I got some Indian in me, but that's because we the Indians. Like, we was Cherokee, Sequoia, we were different tribes. Just back in the 1800s, 1700s, we was all these different tribes, and they lied us in history in their school, got us thinking that we was all in Africa. So as all this shit was coming out and being revealed, it made sense to why they hate us, because, like, okay, they came and took the land from us, enslaved us in our land, you know what I'm saying, named all these cities after our ancient words. Like Chicago was an ancient word for power, or powerful. Chicago means powerful. You know what I'm saying? It was a tribal word that we spoke. Yeah, it was a tribal word that we spoke. And actually, Lake Michigan was the place where they buried a lot of our ancestors at. Like, that was a ditch, an open grave where they dumped our bodies that we was going to war with them. We was going to war with these with these what they call the Spanish conquistadors, or what we know as the slave masters of today that took the land from us. So you get to finding out like, okay, this is how we was building the pyramids because we were so tapped in with nature and everything around us. Like I say, our ability to channel the energy of the sun is next level because, we have this carbon in our skin. So then that explains why we faster than them, why we more athletic than them, why our babies start walking before theirs. It explains a lot, why they don't want to grow our ether out. It just took me on this long, deep journey. And I just started feeding that back to the people, God. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I started finding out that we actually gods. You know what I'm saying? Because we are children of Almighty God, which is why even Jesus said in the Bible that ye are gods and all of you are children of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Because Jesus was actually black, but they paint him as white. So you get to see the impact of white supremacy and how they took everything from us and put their face on it. You know what I'm saying? You got Mount Rushmore with a bunch of white faces, but ain't nobody white discovered nothing over here in America. You know what I'm saying? Everything was taken from us. And this is how we had the movements in the 60s and stuff like that, where our people was more well before they started bringing the drugs in our communities in the 80s, and then the drugs turned all the gangs into gangs, because all the gangs started off as organizations to protect the community, the GDs and the Black Stones, the Jeff Ford, and them, and the Latin Kings, and the Crips and the Bloods, So it just took me on this long journey, man, and I'm like, okay, so this is why they hate us, this is why they oppress us, this is why they keep us against each other. You know what I'm saying? And I just started feeding it to the people, and it was a lot of information that just a lot of people didn't know, and I didn't know that people know, and then it just grew. It became like a university, and everybody started tuning in, and then I just started going viral. Everybody started sharing the videos, and sitting around with their families watching this by the thousands. You know what I'm saying? YouTube to TikTok to Facebook to Instagram. And that's when I stopped calling us niggas. Like, what's good, bro? What's good, nigga? What's good? On phone them. Like, I might still slip over to say that sometimes. I'm from the streets, right? But when I recognize that the black man and the black woman is actually we gods, and even Jesus himself said that Jesus was a black man who the church killed because he was teaching these things, that's when I'm like, oh, we gods because we created everything. We are not Almighty God, but we are children of the original Almighty God, which makes us gods. Even Elijah Muhammad taught that originally in the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? And Yahweh be Yahweh, and Dr. York said in Clemens 13X to the 5%. So if I got to going back in the noble Drew Ali's and the Moorish Science Temple of America was teaching this, and they come out from under Marcus Garvey, and they were teaching this. So it was like, hold on, these are ancient teachers that we been knew, but they separated us from them teachers. Because growing up in Chicago, bro, I know that I was aware of a lot of this shit, but I didn't know it at the depth that I know it now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like growing up, all I thought was like, man, I'm another nigga. My bros is my gang, my hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, your ass ain't GD, nigga, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? That's how I grew up. I'm thinking that if you ain't GD, you ain't none of these ranks, you the ops. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I see the shorties doing it now, I don't even judge them. I just try to lead them because I know that we suffer from a lack of knowledge of self. So when we kill each other, it's like, it ain't because a motherfucker can genuinely know who their enemy is. You know what I'm saying? Well, a lot of us just, you don't know. And when I see that was my whole to fulfill, because we all got a purpose, God. So I just fully embraced it, and I knew what came with it. I'm like, I know when you step in that role, history shows that anybody that has ever stood up against white supremacy, spoke out against oppression, they all end up assassinated. They all end up political prisoners, man. You know what I'm saying? So I knew what came with it, but like I say, coming out the streets, motherfucker risk their lives for less every day. My teen years was spent gang banging and robbing and doing all this shit. I lost my life every day. I was in the county doing the gang banging heavy, could have lost my life. Got stabbed even 8 times before when the death went out. Even got stabbed in the face and the head, all that. Like just fighting over dumb shit, but not fighting the real bully. So I just wholeheartedly embraced that, and a lot of people started looking at me like a revolutionary. They're like, man, we guys, oh, I ain't know that, because I received a lot of backlash for that at first. I'm like, man, we ain't know God, especially the goddesses. I ain't know God, that's fucking wrong with you, lame ass nigga. I'm like, hold on, don't think of the nigga on this YouTube trying to enlighten you that the nigga don't come from this shit for real. I come from this shit for real. I was like one of the worst of the work. I did it all. I done sold drugs, I done been strung out on drugs, I done shot motherfuckers, I done been shot at, I done stabbed if I been stabbed, I done game bang, I done robbed, I done clubbed, I used to smoke cigarettes, I used to smoke blacks, drink the 211, drink all that shit. I done did that. I was strung out on extra. I done did all that shit, you feel me? But it's about real growing, it's about growing life, it's about developing. So as I begin to develop and mature, but I'm in my 30s. I can't do the same shit I was doing when I was in my 20s or when I was 15. You know what I'm saying? 16. So that just came with maturity. And once I used the history to prove that we gods and what we is, and I ain't coming back from it. Now I'm full force like, no, we gods. I'm telling you what we is at the core. We have spirit, soul. We divine beings. We luminous beings. You know what I'm saying? We non-ether beings because we are composed of 9 ethereal elements. You know what I'm saying? The black, Latino, woman, and man, which is why we receive all the hatred and we are attacked the most because we are the aboriginal beings of the land. You know what I'm saying? So they took the land from us and we classified us as African Americans.
You have 1 minute left.
Latin Americans and shit like that. So that's where the divine being comes from. And that's why I say peace God or peace goddess. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I want to call you what you are at your highest potential, even if he don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Even if he think he ain't looking at himself as nothing but just game and fold him, I'm still gonna let him know he a God. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was a shorty, ain't nobody tell me that. You know what I'm saying? Or she might look at herself as a bad bitch. That's okay. She's in that mentality right now, but I'm gonna let her know she a goddess because I'm gonna call you what you are at the core. And ain't nothing that you can't do. I'm gonna let you know what you are, what God created, what Almighty God or Allah or whatever title you want to use created you to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that title comes with me calling us God and acknowledging that fact within us, you know?
You could let us know the difference between the spirit and the soul?
For sure. I know it's gonna click off my car right back, but basically, alright, so within the body, you have a lot of...
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.